In this video, I'm going to look at how to find and trade breakout setups using 4% breakout and dollar breakout, which are the two most common methods or scans which we use. In order to find breakout setups, you're basically running two scans. One is the 4% bullish. For 4% bullish, the scan is basically looking for a stock which is up 4%, volume is greater than yesterday's volume, and volume is greater than 100,000. And I run it on a universe. Universe is basically a set of stocks which consist of ADR, US common stocks, and ETF. So that way you don't have to duplicate your effort. So if you run that particular scan today, there are 115 stocks which are showing up in this particular scan. So what I'm going to do is I have a bullish working watch list. I'm going to copy all these 4% bullish stocks into that list for analysis purpose. And similarly, there is a dollar breakout scan which I run. The dollar breakout scan looks for a stock which is up at least 90 cents from the opening price and whose volume is greater than 100,000, and C is greater than C1. That means like basically today it closed in positive. So if you apply that condition, you are getting 182 stocks. So we copy all of these to bullish working watch list. So now we have a bullish working watch list which has 266 stocks, and it is sorted by dollar. Dollar is basically C minus O. So that is closing price minus opening price. So that what this means is this particular stock opened higher and then spent rest of the day giving up $2.45, or this stock ended up giving up 0.70 from the opening price. So that way you don't have to spend time on stocks which are like this, which had a gap up but ended up giving up the gains. So that's the thing. So after this has been sorted by this, you have to basically go through each one of them to look for a setup, and the setup again is like you're basically looking for either a reversal setup or a continuation setup. So let's go through these stocks very quickly to see what is showing up in these setups. One of the other advantage of doing it this way is all the lower price stocks come in and you can quickly dismiss them if you have a larger account. So as we keep going, so now this is a kind of a reversal kind of a setup, which is like, say, if you see here also, like, and I did this particular breakout led to 25%. Wherever you see this blue, green, it's basically the same scan as what we used, and the red is a reversal of that. That is basically 4% to the downside, and this is TI65. So TI65 will be TI65 and TI65 to the negative. Okay, so this stock is in a downtrend. It is trying to reverse. It didn't close near the high, that's the negative, so move on. Okay, stock did close near the high. It's 0.49 cent stocks. If you're looking for lower price stocks, that's a decent setup, I would say. Now none of these are good setups. Till we find good setups, I'll keep going. You're basically looking for a good setup which is in terms of like closes near the high, wasn't really like, say, here is a good setup. Now stock has got to establish momentum, trend intensity is there. Stock was not up 3 days in a row. This was a negative day before that. Stock did close near the high, so that's one idea which you have. Also, like stock tends to make big moves. Like last time it made a move up 16.50% in 3 days. So that's a good setup basically. Axum Pharmaceuticals, again, like this is the first leg, orderly sideways move, was not up 3 days in a row, closed near the high, volume is high also. So that's another setup which you find out of this. Cali Auto Logistics, not really the best of the lot, but it can still work. A lot of these low price stocks will work currently because market is hot. So this is now up 2 days in a row. So that's why I would not look at setups like this. Ideal setup should be where this is a breakout here. That would have been ideal. Okay. Side to upside, but like 3 days sideways as a continuation setup. Now when you look at these kind of setups, these are continuation kind of setups. You should be finding them on your anticipation setup, anticipations will give you better entries in many of these setups, but like if it doesn't show up, then you can use them. uh, so there are many ways to find setups, basically is what you're doing, and you can find setups using multiple ways basically. Now INAP, it did close near the high, but this is like I say very choppy base. Can it go up from here? Yes, it's possible. Like last time it did make a big move after this, so you can keep it on your list as something which is breaking out of a more than 2 months of consolidation. Okay, Libby's again, restaurant stock. This is established momentum, close near the high, so that's like there. Okay. Fomex Pharmaceutical, again, like say this is a sideways move from which it is breaking out. Some of these are thinly traded stocks. If you see, like they trade 30,000, 40,000 shares, so that's why they will not show up in your anticipation. Otherwise, it would have shown up in anticipation. As far as possible, if you do a good job of anticipation, you should be getting into many of these breakout setups much earlier. Now you have buckle again, like say this is the first leg. There's a consolidation, there's a negative day here, and then breaking out. So maybe kind of a setup. SunTrust Bank. Now this will be a dollar breakout. It's not a 4% breakout. See, very first leg, very orderly sideways move and breaking out today, close near the high. So that's a setup. That's a dollar breakout setup. See this stock, see it had a 4% record, never followed up, or like next day it did go up a little bit, so I would let it go. The past tells you something about how it acted. This is a extended kind of a setup. Now see CVX, this is a nice setup, like dollar breakout. See very linear up move, sideways move, orderly, didn't give up any gains, and now breaking out. So that's a nice setup. See very choppy, so no clear breakout from this. See Prime America is a dollar breakout. This is a nice setup. See here, sideways move breaking out. This is very choppy. This was an anticipation setup for someone. I think Thermos had this as an anticipation setup, but like I wouldn't buy it as a breakout setup here. In fact, the more work I do in anticipation, I find it difficult to buy many breakouts, because you're always thinking, look, and there was a better entry on anticipation. So as far as possible, I'm trying to enter many of the same setups which I used to enter as a breakout nowadays on anticipation before the actual breakout happens. Pod insulate, see this is like a large move up. This is pullback, orderly pullback, no 4% breakdowns you'll see there in this particular move. So it's breaking out and close near the high. That's very positive. Volume was also very high. And this is a very nice breakout. This is a very, very nice dollar breakout, which still can be entered tomorrow morning. This is also a good breakout. See, high volume. This is anticipation setup for some people. I didn't enter it as an anticipation, which I'm regretting because it really made a big move. But that still is a breakout setup. BIB didn't close near the high, faded, so that's a negative. Netflix is up 2 days in a row, so that's like Amazon up 2 days in a row. Google, this is possible. See here, small. Many of these large cap, they will like start from a consolidation, so that's like a good. Uh, Google, they're the same kind of a thing. So now, if you go through this, you have around 14 ideas. Okay, so copy flag to momentum burst, which is a watch list, or so now you have a choice. If you're a smaller account, you might select something like this. If you're a larger account, you might select something like BA. Okay, and you can still enter some of these setups, not all of them, like especially the smaller one, they can also like, but say something like this, you can still enter tomorrow, and the stop will go at the low of the day. The stop will be at 117.33, which is the low of the day, so that's the stop. I would say that even this pod insulate, even though it's extended to the extent that this was a big move, but that's like not a bad setup. BA is very nice, it's very nice. See here, excellent setup. Then you have advanced accelerator application. It's a French company basically. See here, there was a 4% breakout. How did it behave? It went up for around 16%. Here there was a 4% breakout. It made around 20% move. So that's the potential on these kind of things. And then you have Google. So those are the kind of things which you can find using breakouts. So this is as far as bullish is concerned. Okay, so we're going to clear all the flags. On the bearish side, we'll look at the same thing on the bearish side. So I have a bearish watch list, working watch list, the bearish working watch list. So what I'm going to do is 4% to the negative side. So there are 48 stocks. So copy all of them into bearish work. Similarly, I have a dollar breakout to the downside, which looks for a stock which is down 90 cent plus from the opening price. So those are like around 121. So copy all of them into the bearish work. So once you have this, what you have to do is you sort it the other way around this time, because something which is like this, which was like in a gap down and spent rest of the day going up, is not really something which is a short sale. See here, you're looking for a short sale candidate. Okay, so obviously these things where they are like down 1 cent and 2 cents, these are lower priced ones. If you don't want to look through them, you can put a filter where only something which is down 25 cents or 30 cents will show up in your thing. That way you can save time. So if you keep going down, again, you're looking for a good short setup, like say this was probably a good short setup yesterday. Yeah, this was a 4% down there also, and it had a follow through of 5.61%, but it's not a good setup today. When looking for short setups, you don't necessarily need a stock which has got a negative trend intensity, because many stocks which make a big move actually break down and they make better shots near their high than when they are like very weak. So again, here we have started looking at like in both long and short, like we are now at dollar breakout kind of a thing. This is a maybe. See, this stock has had this struggle. It's still caught in a range, so I'm not so sure about shorting it. Like I would let it go because it's gap down also, but that's one possibility. Anything which is extended, like, and that's something to keep an eye on, because those are the things which tend to reverse basically. Market has a rotational kind of cycles going on always. There are stocks which are going up at the same time. Some stocks which have made a big move, they revert, or they at least go into a range. Some of them like revert for good. So this is more like a continuation kind of setup after a big gap down or a big gap. My work, not like A grade setup, but one possibility. Hog. See, it's a weak stock, but hasn't really like followed through on the downside. Maybe it might follow through now, but like that's a weak stock. Uh, Ideal short candidate, as I said multiple times, is a stock like this when like it made a big move and it like basically gapped down, and like that was the end of that big move. So probably yesterday or here it would have been a good shot, because those are the one which tends to have a lot of people stuck, or even this one was like say a big move. Now this was a breakdown of this, and this could have been a good short point that it would have come in dollar breakout at that day. So look for those kind of setups. I don't see anything much as of now, but obviously we not yet gone through everything. So Whirlpool, that's a reversal. Stock had gap down, but like not really something which I would go tomorrow and short sell. Some of these are like basically probably topping patterns, like in the sense in the short term they are going to have uh, pullback or something like this might happen probably, because that looks like that to me. As and iRobot was one of those which broke down well resort currently. So nothing which stands out as such. There is only one or two ideas. None of them are I'm super excited about. Like I'm not really excited about this or this also. But you can add them to just watch. I'm not recommending both of them as a short basically. So in terms of like you have total list of like opportunities out of this, I would say that like this is definitely the best of the lot. And then this is the reason why you need to do anticipation. Because of anticipation you could get into this setup without waiting for this kind of a confirmation. Okay. Then you have like pod insulate, which is breakout and high volume. I would, if I had not got in early into this kind of a breakout, which I don't normally these days because I don't really scan for breakout early in the morning nowadays, unless it is on my anticipation list. So I would wait for it to set up as an anticipation setup sometime down the line if it works. Sometimes they don't, but like that's a possibility. What else is there? This Google I think is like is good as a setup, Google. And obviously there is that CVX which is good. This is looks extended to me. See, stock has been going up for some time, but it's a biotech, so anything can happen in biotech. Idra is a low priced, I would say that's a nice setup. So those are the one which I would say are the best, out of which BA was obviously better as an anticipation. This was also an anticipation setup. Many people had it as an anticipation setup. And Google. So those are 4 or 5 stocks which are still buy, or you can still enter them next morning as long as they don't gap up. But better entries are always on the day of the breakout, and as soon as you realize that there is a breakout, because you can benefit by the breakout going up more during the day, intraday. Stops, I always use stops as low of the day. So if I'm going to get into this, I will be using stop as 254.78. Or like if you're getting into CVX, you'll use 117.33, which is the low of the day, as a stop basically of the breakout day. Because if you're entering tomorrow, you can't make tomorrow's low as the entry day stop, because that will like ensure that you get stopped out. So you have to be having the stop at the low of the entry day basically. So that is how you find setups using breakout scan. And we looked at only dollar breakout and 4% breakout. There's also low threshold breakout which I use, but I will make a video about it sometime next week for you to try and show you how I use low threshold breakout, because low threshold breakout requires much more work because you get too many candidates and you have to work through it. But low threshold breakout is what I would suggest for full-time traders, especially those who have a lot of capital to trade with, because you want as many ideas as possible. And low threshold breakout also gives you entries which are like much better entries than 4% on dollar breakout many times. So that's why I would say that low threshold is another thing to add to your arsenal. But that is how you can find breakout setups.